Sorry, no, if I need to go fill up right now. No, we're good. Gas is going up.
All right.
I've just
Go fast
filled
then.
up anyway. Yeah. No, it's okay. We can start.
Well, we are starting, but if you do need to go and buy some gas or something, then
No, it's. I was just joking. I'm not economically savvy enough to do stuff like that. I just hope for the best.
it's 1 tank of gas, Justin. What could it cost? $10?
It's a single banana. What could it be? $30, $40? Who knows?
All right.
Was
Hello.
that was that Ellen? Sorry.
No, that was from
Clooney?
Arrested Development.
No, I know, but then there was. Oh yeah, right. But there was also like a celebrity in real life who like was just so out of touch with like the price of things. Like they've clearly never actually bought themselves something. And
I mean, that's probably most of them. That's why the Arrested Development joke worked so well.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like if we were to talk about how much time people have to read Star Wars books, where we assume that everyone can just read them all every day.
My favorite joke from Arrested Development is when they're talking about burning down the banana stand, and they ask the arsonist whether he burnt down the banana stand, and he's like, almost definitely. That guy died recently.
Sad.
Kind of sad. Yeah.
Pour one out for him and Mr. Leahy.
Mm-hmm. And what's her name? The mom on Arrested Development as well.
Yeah. They really got to get on filming season 12 or whatever if they want to have everyone still alive for that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tapcaf Transmissions, the only Star Wars podcast that still hasn't made a proper logo for itself after 2 years of being on the air. I am your host for tonight, Corey, joined, as always, by my earnestly efficacious co-host, Justin EckhartsLadder. How are you doing?
Nice. I don't know what is efficacious mean. Like I'm efficient.
Yeah,
I don't
you're
know what that word
effective. You're efficient.
So I'm
any of those kind of words.
Effective and efficient.
Yeah, you're that, and then you are sincerely that.
Mm-hmm.
You make no bones about being that. I just needed 2 words because I missed it last week. Shut the fuck.
All right. No, I'm good. Just getting back to work after Christmas break and getting back into it. How are you doing, my young friend?
Okay, that's creepy. But I'm good. We get to talk about some books of Boba Fett tonight after a pretty long drought of Star Wars content to talk about, even though it was only like 4 months ago that Bad Batch aired.
Doesn't really count. Let's be honest. Animated isn't the same. It's just not the same.
Bad Batch doesn't count.
I love the Bad Batch. I think probably more than a lot of people, but animated just doesn't hit the same.
Okay, well, so only movies
Rebels,
then,
Star Wars Rebels was the only thing that really, for me, like I don't know. It's just live action for me is on a different level. Like
did
even
Clone Wars season 7 count?
No. It came close, but not quite. I think probably the finale of Star Wars Rebels was maybe a bit closer. I like Rebels more than Clone Wars. I think I've said that before.
That's objectively the correct opinion to have.
Yeah, Rebels is significantly better because it's just on average, I think, a lot better. Like Clone Wars has some highs, but it also has a lot of lows. Yeah. I also think some people try to say, Clone Wars has the highs that are higher and the lows that are lower. I disagree. I think the highs of Rebels are higher as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always liked Rebels more than Clone Wars. There are a few episodes that I'd put up higher from Clone Wars, but even then it's like in the mix of Rebels episodes, so I don't know. Like we just got to the season 2 finale as I'm watching Rebels with Dana.
Right? Yeah.
And I just it's great. Good stuff.
Yeah.
But how are your holidays going? I know you disconnected a lot.
Yeah, they were good. I didn't do any work. It was like, I haven't taken that long off work. Probably even when Imogen was born, I only took a few days off. So I don't think I've taken that long off work probably since I moved into the new house and had to take time off to do renovations, or maybe when August was born. But it's been a while. But yeah, I completely disconnected. I didn't do any work at all. Didn't even like record anything. Didn't stream. It was really nice. Blatantly ignored Charlie.
How many memes did he send you with just no response?
It's like he'd send me like a docking card. He's like, look at this sick new Dragon Ball card. And I would just put the phone down and just slide it away.
It's an out of office message.
Yeah, exactly.
Good stuff.
Yeah. I'm just joking about that. I didn't ignore him, but yeah, it was nice. What about yourself though? Because you kind of had a weird one, right? Because Dana went home.
Yeah, I went and visited family earlier in the month before before Omicron really took off. So I think that was the right call there. But that
Definitely.
means I got home. Dana went to visit her family, so I was just here alone, and I decided to work as much as I could throughout. So I did like my first animated map video and started working on the
That was really
next
good.
ones for that. So I'm was kind of hoping to take advantage of the usual December highs as much as possible, even if the December highs this year were not that high. But hopefully put myself in a decent position.
My Halo videos are doing better than my Star Wars videos right now. Yeah, just, and I know it's not just us though. It's like it's every Star Wars channel. So
yeah,
it's not like it used to be. Like when the movies come out, it's a completely another level.
Yeah. So hopefully Rogue Squadron will change that. But
yeah, because you weren't really doing lore for any of the movies, were you?
No, I came in after like the real big boom for it was just after The Last Jedi. Or just before to just after.
Yeah.
And then it kind of like petered off by the time Rise of Skywalker came out. And so I started the year that Rise of Skywalker came out, I think. I've only been doing Datapad for about 2 years now, maybe 2.5.
Yeah, the hype before Last Jedi was crazy, but even more it seems like before Force Awakens. Like bummed I wasn't around for that, because like you see the videos back then that people would put up, and part of the reason was because I think no one was doing it very much. But
yeah, well, I didn't even realize that it like gaming videos were as big as they were before then, because like I could have done like Captain Shaq XP Gamers got pretty big doing like Empire at War modded Let's Plays. Like if I'd known that was a thing when I was working at McDonald's instead of working at McDonald's, I would have just done that earlier. So I could have gotten in when that was like Empire at War was a guaranteed 100,000 views per video, but I only got in when it was about 2,000 or 3,000. So very sad.
Yeah, very sad. Not epic at all. It was different back then, because like it also set my expectations so high, because like I'd literally upload any video and hit like 400,000 views. It'd be like that time Jar Jar shit himself, and it would be like 400,000 views.
Shorts kind of do that right now, but they also like they don't translate to literally anything else. Like
no,
they don't translate to other views or subscribers very much. A bit to subscribers, but like if you're a channel that does a split between shorts and other regular videos, you need to do a ton of shorts for it to get any traction in the first place. But you look at some of those channels where they'll get 100,000 plus views per short, and then they'll post a regular video and it's sitting at like 200.
Well, yeah, that's what the X Clips channel was getting, like over 100,000. But so I did a month where I worked really hard. We got like I think 8 million views or something or more, and I got the paycheck for $300, and I was like, it's not worth it. Like the amount of work I'm putting in. I'm probably gonna start it back up in the new year, but I was like, man, the amount of work that I put in for like, it's just
like I've done a few shorts. I never got super into it because I didn't think it would transfer in a like long-term sustainable way for me. So like the shorts I did were usually just, this is an idea I have for a video that isn't going to make a different video, so I may as well change the aspect ratio and keep it under a minute, which still pissed some people off, even though the video wouldn't have existed otherwise. But like they tended to do for me about what another video would do. So because I didn't go like super heavily into it. So I didn't get a bunch of the shorts views, but I also didn't lose the regular views.
Yeah, like for mine, I'm looking at it, like the past 10 videos, I've got 2 that did 1 million, few that did 600. It's just like, but it's like, so what?
Yeah. But anyways, people probably don't care about us talking about random YouTube analytics stuff. They want to hear about the book of Boba Fett. And what are your quick thoughts on it before we get into the big breakdown here? What's your top level opinion?
So I understand the problem that some people had with it. It was definitely like sort of a prologue episode. But I liked it. I really liked the set design. I liked how it felt different than The Mandalorian. I liked the setup they did. I thought the action was a bit slow at times. But yeah, I thought it was good. I like, obviously it's going to depend on what episode 2 and 3 does. Like if nothing happens, then it's not going to be good. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to next week.
Yeah, I definitely felt it. I hope it doesn't spend all season going back and forth between the flashbacks and the present day as much as it did here. Maybe a couple, but like it really did feel like it detracted from the modern day story. Because like we know that Boba has to ingratiate himself to the Tuskens, and it kind of fits with the theme of like how Boba is trying to rule with respect in as ruling Jabba's empire, and we kind of see how he executes on that in the Tusken village, where he's like letting the kid take the credit and kind of putting himself in their society, and like that's interesting for what it is, but it's also probably not something that I want half of the 7-episode span to be about. So hopefully it's like just a couple episodes and then we're focusing on today.
I mean, the good thing is they covered a lot in episode 1. They covered him escaping the Sarlacc. They covered him surviving, like why he's so fucked up. They covered him, like you said, ingratiating himself to the Tuskens. So like there's not a whole lot else we really need to see other than, I guess, him getting I forget, what do we see of him getting his armor back?
Well, he gets it from Din.
Yeah, he gets it from Din, yeah. So we got to see him get his ship back. But I mean, other than that, it looks like we're going to get to see... Did you see the clips that people pointed out was probably Tosche Station?
No. Didn't.
Yeah, so it looks like... Because, there's that deleted scene from... I'll say slight spoiler alert, although this is all stuff that was in a trailer. There's a deleted scene from episode 4 where he goes to Tosche Station and he sees like Fixer and Cammy, his friends. Have you ever seen those scenes before?
No.
Well,
it's weird that a member of Delta Squad would be there.
Yeah, maybe it's not. Isn't it? I think it's Fixer. But yeah, that is. Anyway, so he sees them and like they see the space battle going on and stuff. And yeah, so you get to see the inside of Tosche Station. It's kind of like a bar, actually, in a way. And some people with really keen eyes looked at some footage from the trailers, and it was pretty much lined up exactly from that cut scene from episode 7. And it even looked like they had actors kind of reprising the role as the much older versions of of Luke's friends. So it looks like at one point we're going to see Boba Fett go to Tosche Station for some reason, maybe to get parts for his ship or something. I imagine we're also going to see him go to Jabba's palace and get Slave One back, or Boba Fett starship, whatever it's called. But yeah, other than that, I don't know if there's really a whole lot left to kind of fill in. And I guess him finding, what's her name? Fennec.
Yeah, I feel like the Fennec thing and finding Slave One are going to be the two big, like, past plot points at this point. But we also know, like, when he goes off to find Din, he's got all the Tusken gear. One of the things I was thinking about, though, with this was that there's going to be so much Tatooine this year. Like, most of this series is going to be on Tatooine, and almost all of Obi-Wan is probably going to be on Tatooine, with maybe a few scenes elsewhere. But it's a lot of Tatooine. And then
I really like Tatooine, but that's definitely going to annoy some people.
Just so much Tatooine. I like Tatooine, but we don't need all this and then probably 2 episodes of the Mando on Tatooine as well.
Yeah, the planet that was supposed to be the middle of nowhere.
Well, when 2 of the most famous people in the galaxy are from there, I guess it kind of becomes a tourist attraction.
Yeah.
Like, come see the home of Darth Vader / Luke Skywalker, depending on what your political affiliation is.
Remember in like Tatooine Ghost, that's kind of like, well, not Luke, but Anakin is like famous from his pod racing days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does Kitster know Anakin's Vader? I forget. I need to reread that book. We need to do that sooner than later.
Not at the beginning, but I think, from what I remember, I believe he had suspicions, because I think Leia tells him.
It's one of the ones that we skipped over timeline-wise that maybe we should try to go back and do during Obi-Wan at least, or between Boba Fett and Obi-Wan.
Yeah, so I think that's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good idea.
But One of the things that I felt kind of held the episode back for me with the flashback, especially, is that there's just so few character interactions. And while I felt like the action and world building was good enough, I think it does kind of fall short of the level set in The Mandalorian. So when there's not really any dialogue and when it's just Boba talking to people who aren't going to respond to him, I feel like that held it back a little bit, and I hope we get a bit more, because like the scenes with Fennec were pretty good. With the other characters, it was mostly just different people saying apologies. So
it was kind of like it kind of reminded me of like, or it would have been like the Mandalorian episode 1 without the Baby Yoda.
I was thinking, that's what I was thinking as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because like Din doesn't say much, but then you had at least the reactions between him and Grogu, and here,
because I think people would have even been disappointed in Mando episode 1 if there hadn't been that really unique hook, because it is, you know, the beginning of the episode is just him tracking someone down. There's a cool monster. He brings him into a Tatooine like planet.
Yeah, even then there was like the introduction of a few other characters that like Griff was in there. We had the meeting with the Imperials.
That's
true. So there were a bit more character moments there. Like the biggest character we get other than like the club owner is the mayor's
Major Domo.
Yeah, and he was just kind of off-putting to me. Like
he was weird. I liked him, but he was really weird.
Yeah, I feel like if he was a human, it would have worked a bit better. I don't know what it was about just seeing a Twi'lek talking like that didn't quite fit. But that's probably more a me thing. But
no, that I saw that from some people. I kind of just took it as he's so like dealing with humans so frequently and stuff that he's adopted like the protocol and stuff. But yeah.
Well, we already know who the mayor is going to be from the trailer, but there was a lot of debate about that online, so I don't want to spoil that for anyone who didn't see it. In case people skip the trailers.
Yeah, fair enough. Although, do we know anything about him other than what he looks like?
No, and the fact that he might have been voiced by Pedro Pascal.
He wasn't. They said who it was, and it wasn't Pedro Pascal. Trying to remember who it was. I think it might have been what's his name? The director himself.
Rodriguez?
Yeah, I think it might have been Rodriguez, but I'm not sure. I could be wrong on that. I do know our boy Sam Witwer was in this episode.
Was he?
Yeah, I forget. I saw that he played somebody. I think it might have been like one of the sand people or something. I can't remember who, but yeah. Go Sam. Get him in as many things as you can.
So do we think that one of the sand people is going to turn out to be one of his allies later on in the show? Like, are we going to get an unmasked Tusken Raider in this? Because that became a thing in Legends a bit, but I'm not sure how they set it up in canon.
I don't even know. I haven't really considered the Tusken Raiders being a kind of bigger thing. Sam was the Rodian, by the way.
The Rodian? Okay.
Yeah. But I guess that's possible. I hadn't really considered it, though.
Because, like, Asherad Het is just full-on human beneath the robes. So Legends has them, like, pretty firmly established as just completely human, but different language, wearing their robes and stuff. But, like, that girl that shows up at some point on the speeder bike, maybe that's the Tusken Raider lady. Who knows?
That I can see that being possible, because one of the Tusken Raiders definitely seemed female.
Yeah, the one he fought was.
Yeah. So I could. That's a good point. I hadn't considered that. And she did kind of look like. Didn't she have like some kind of markings on her face, as if like, you know, maybe she'd have a mask on and she's like covering the parts of her eyes that might be exposed. You know what I mean?
I went back to look at like her outfit and see if it lined up with the Tusken Raider outfit. There wasn't anything that like really jumped out to me, but like I still think maybe that'll be where it comes from, because otherwise, I'm not sure what the connection is going to be, especially for someone that's going to be introduced later on in a 7-episode arc. So like if they have that callback to say, oh, this is a connection you kind of cultivated when you were living with the Tuskens, and now they're going to help I think that would be interesting.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Otherwise, it kind of just feels like maybe she'll be just Finnick again.
Yeah, that's possible. I forget what I was reading. I don't know if it was something I was reading or watching where they're talking about like how allying with the Tusken Raiders is the key to Tatooine. Was that something we read? I read
It doesn't
too
sound
much Star
familiar.
Wars. But yeah, anyway, yeah, I think that's a good theory actually. I assume that the main conflict is going to be Boba going against whoever the mayor's kind of working for.
Yeah.
Like the mayor's got to be the puppet of some other crime boss.
Yeah. I mean, just saying it like the mayor as the big bad, that's something that Buffy would do, but it only because it's kind of it sounds funny. But I did find out today that the official title, or the official like honorific for mayor of Ottawa at the very least, is his worship. So I don't know. Kind of creeped me out because I was sitting there waiting to renew my health card. So I was reading all the people who got the keys to the city, and it just says presented by his worship Jim Watson. It's like, oh, kind of gross.
Yeah, Halifax has a funny one too. Yeah, Halifax was your worship, but the current mayor said no. No more of that. So
yeah, okay. Well, I have more respect for your mayor than mine.
Yeah. Yeah. He's an interesting dude. I saw him in a Pizza Hut once.
Nice. Was he with Pat Roach or Loach?
Roach. No, he wasn't. Pat Roach is a real estate agent here though. So before, like when they were just doing the seasons and like before it was huge, you'd see like picture like billboards of him up around the city. Like, hey, that's Randy, but he's got a shirt on. Yeah.
I think like everyone on that show worked for scale, so it makes sense that he have another job.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why Corey and Trevor quit originally.
But what did you think about the fighting in the show? Because
the fighting was, I think, one of the weaker parts that I'm hoping will be improved, because it was good in Rodriguez's. But I don't know if Robert Rodriguez actually directed this episode. I know he's only directing, I think, 3 of them in total. I didn't see who directed this first one, but I mean, it wasn't awful. It just wasn't like. I think part of it may have been the setup for the fight, where they're stuck in shields. Like it's not the most kind of dynamic, like setup, I guess.
Yeah. It all worked fine for me, fine enough. It didn't like blow me away. It definitely wasn't as good as any of the fights in Mando, but it did almost feel a bit more like the cheaper episode 4, 5, 6 combat. So I kind of liked it for that, especially when like Boba's last appearance, or Boba's first appearance in a fight, is the Sarlacc pit fight, and just how much wonky shit happens in there. Like, it's nice.
Yeah, like if we saw that fight from episode 6, we'd be like, this was the lamest shit ever. Like, because you're right in a way that the original trilogy choreography is so kind of like basic. Whereas like Mandalorian, I think there were a few episodes that really took it next level. The one where they're the Gazanti, where they're raiding the Gazanti, I thought was really, really good choreography. I thought the Mandalorian's duel with Gideon was really good in the finale as well. And
even the fight like on Tython, like all of them have been pretty good in the Mandalorian. Like the first episode had the shootout, like getting to Grogu.
Yeah, that was. And the second episode, or the third, when he's rescuing Grogu, like after he gives him up, that was really good also.
Yeah,
like I think that was the third episode.
Like I don't know if part of it is just Tamura Morrison. Like he's not wearing his armor, so there's less you can do with stunt doubles on that. And he's not
this time,
he's not super young either.
No, he's not. Yeah, and like that's another thing too. Like I don't think he'll be fighting without his, because you're right. He's 61. I don't think he'll be fighting without his armor on as much as he did in this one episode. Because I did like the excuse for taking the helmet off. Like he knows he's about to be paid, which was funny. But yeah, I think I think it will probably improve. If not, it wasn't bad enough that I was like it wasn't like it didn't blow me away, I guess.
Yeah.
I did notice Tamura had some what are they called? Not dentures. When they put like the fake teeth over
The caps.
Yeah, but what do they call it when you do your whole mouth with them? Because his teeth were just so white. He was like in the snow, and it's like glaring off his in the snow, in the sand. I mean, the sun's just glaring off his teeth. But yeah, it's just funny. Like Boba never takes his helmet off, but he's got these pearly whites.
Yeah. You gotta have good teeth on Tatooine. Like the last brush with death he had was nearly being eaten. So he understands how important being able to eat other stuff is. So you got to take care of those teeth. And like the stomach acid will just shine it for him.
Yeah, no, I liked a lot of the world building they did too. I just think they did a good job of making a really interesting looking Tatooine.
Yeah.
I was surprised they went with Mos Espa. I thought for sure they were going to call that a new city. I thought they were going to have it be Bestine. That was my theory, which is used to be the capital of Tatooine, because it's a larger city than we ever saw. We do see Mos Espa in episode 1, but we got a bit of a wider shot in this show, and you can pretty easily understand that the Mos Espa they visit would have just been the outskirts of because there's like the big crater with that one part of the city in, but then there's like sprawling kind of like sprawling outposts and towns and stuff outside of that. So like the Mos Espa would have just been kind of off the plateau somewhere.
Yeah, I was almost surprised they didn't go like Mos Eisley just for the name recognition, but I'm glad they didn't. Did you see the mash? Did you ever watch Parks and Rec?
Yeah, not like every episode though.
Did you see the mashup that's going around with the episode where Patton Oswalt had to like filibuster I think it was a town hall meeting, and I think he improv'd it, but part of what he did was give his script for a Star Wars thing, and it basically matches up exactly to the start.
Perfectly, yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, that was really good. I mean, yeah, it was like, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but like, you need to get out of the Sarlacc pit. There's like, you're gonna crawl out, like you're not gonna teleport out. So,
but just like got the panning right, got the hand.
Yeah, the hand and the smoking wreckage of Jabba's sail barge in the background.
Yeah, like I mean, it was done as a joke on Parks and Rec, but like Patton Oswalt is
he's
good at telling story. He's not just making that up out of nowhere. This is something he wanted to see.
He's been in a few of the movies, hasn't he? Isn't he like usually?
I think he's had some cameos. Something.
Yeah. Let's see. I feel like he's played a droid or something before, but I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, I really like him. But yeah, that was hilarious, and he nailed it. He reacted on Twitter. He was like just honored, which is pretty awesome. One thing I noticed about this episode too is the creature design was really good. Especially like the Rodian was great. The Trandoshan was like, the Trandoshan especially, I noticed, looked really, really good.
I didn't love the one he fights at the end. That was the only.
Right, the big Machamp, I guess.
Yeah, like, I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it.
So people have been pointing out, and I think correctly, that it definitely looks like a 60s monster movie.
Yeah.
Like Paulo Hidalgo was tweeting some of like kind of what he saw it as, and it's from the fins on the neck to kind of the whole body design is definitely like a kind of classic monster from outer space.
It felt like it was in like, the shots were a bit too wide to be going for that though, like because usually at those movies you see like frantic close-up stuff, and for here it was just like kind of the design, but the execution was very different, so it didn't land super well for me, at least.
I definitely thought they were going to go with when I saw the arm, I thought they were going to go with like one of the minor crate dragons, like the smaller versions.
That's what I was thinking as well. So maybe that's why, just because I wanted to see the a smaller crate dragon, and then that happened. I did like when it like dropped to the lower legs. After that, I was
where it was
more
kind of
on
like
board with
centaur
it.
style.
Yeah.
I just think, like, how does a creature that big living on Tatooine manage to consume the calories needed to run around?
Everything on Tatooine is huge.
Yeah.
Like, I'm more surprised that the crate dragon didn't come and eat it after that.
That's why I kind of like Tatooine. Like, I like Tatooine Ghost for this reason. I like kind of some of the other things. You always kind of get the feeling it's like the desert's almost like an ocean in a way, where there's like all these like leviathans, like crate dragons and other monsters. But I can definitely see that being in like one of the the Kraken was, Ernest mentioned the Kraken was one that I saw people pointing that the monster looked a lot like. But yeah, it was interesting for sure. Somebody in the chat also pointed out too, and this is correct, I mentioned this, there is art of Mos Espa for episode 1, and it looks exactly like the city from the show.
Yeah,
like exactly from the pits to the big tower that's in the middle of the pit and everything. So
it is cool that they like recreated the Boba scene, Boba and Jango's head scene from episode 2, rather than just like popping in the Attack of the Clones footage.
Yeah, because I just recently watched The Matrix. And have you seen it, the new Matrix?
No, I haven't yet.
I won't spoil it, but throughout that movie, they use old footage a lot. Like, and it looks like I edited the videos where like I downloaded Star Wars off LimeWire and inserted it into the video. Like they kind of did that with the movie a lot. Whereas like it's okay, it's not bad, but it is so much cooler if you go the extra mile like they did, and like new shots of Camino or repurposed shots of Camino. And it's like most likely what they did was pretty simple. They probably just, repurposed existing footage and scoped in some like his face and stuff, but it's just that extra level kind of.
Yeah.
Especially in live action, like, because we've seen this stuff in the Clone Wars for so long and other animated stuff, but
yeah. So do you think that we're going to get the flashbacks going over all 4 years up to now? So I guess that would make sense if Fennec gets included with it, but like Boba's there for 4 years.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see an episode with even half as many flashbacks as this one. Like, I think from now on it's going to go kind of Mando style, where like you might have one every episode or one every couple of episodes, but it will be sure.
Yeah.
Someone in the chat also asked, was it remade footage or upscaled? So there is the shot where he's looking at the helmet that's just probably the original footage, but then there's an over the
the one where he's like running up
shot.
The one where he's running up and picking up the helmet, it's different because the background is all different stuff. Like there were some people complaining about it not matching continuity, which is like, shut the fuck up. But
yeah, and then there's a completely different one where it's like over his shoulder.
Yeah, because like there's a big dead. I forget if it's one of the dead animal, the Acklay, or if it's a larger droid that's destroyed. But like you can see that in the background, like close to Boba and Jango, and in this one it's not there. The droid,
and like why would it be? Because it's like this is his memory. This is like he wasn't thinking about the giant dead animal. He was thinking of his dad's fucking severed head sitting in front of him.
Yeah, like it's a much simpler background for it. It's just focused on Boba and Jango.
Interesting. It's cool. I gotta watch those comparisons then, because I didn't realize it was that different. I assumed it was original. Besides for that, I hope we get some more stuff on Camino too. I don't know if they'll be able to manage like more scenes with him and his father, but that would be cool. Obviously, they'll be able to get more Jango, no problem. But young Boba, I don't know if they can somehow kind of.
It's just Daniel Logan, and
he's like in his 30s now. It's just not a big deal.
They just make him play Jango and make Tamura still play Boba. It'll be really messed up.
Yeah, that would be interesting. But I mean I like the flashbacks. It's definitely something that they probably don't need to go too heavy on, because that's I'm sure what Kenobi's going to be a lot of. Clone Wars flashbacks and stuff. So
like this year is going to be so much more Star Wars than last year. So hopefully there's more game announcements with fewer David Cages. But we've got Boba to start off the year. We've got Mando coming up at some point. We've got Obi-Wan. When does Obi-Wan start? Is it March?
Let me just check. I don't know if we know exactly. I'm not sure if we know exactly when that comes out actually.
And
but we've got
Cassian or is Andor this year?
Yeah, Andor's this year.
Okay, May 2022 is rumored for Obi-Wan.
Yeah. So we've got Kenobi, we've got Mando, most likely. I think it'll be probably like December. We've got Cassian, and what am I forgetting? Oh,
Bad
Kenobi.
Batch.
Oh, I said Kenobi. Bad Batch. Yeah, right. So yeah, it's gonna be a full year of Star Wars. Plus we got Lego Star Wars as well coming out.
Yeah,
I really hope we get a Visions 2 at some point.
Yeah, that'd probably be like 2024 if we get it. Just the lead time on anime is pretty big. We do get Critical Role Legend of Vox Machina starting in 2 weeks. So or 3 weeks. Either way, this January. So it's not Star Wars, but you're gonna watch it anyways. I'll accept it as a substitute for you watching actual Critical Role.
What's the difference? It's just shorter.
It's an animated show based on the first campaign.
I'd still rather watch season 3. I'm gonna watch the season 3 or whatever at some point.
Okay.
Because I'm only a couple months out from the beginning now.
Yeah, there's only 3 episodes a month, and it started in like October, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it might be a while till I'm watching like alongside the show, but yeah.
They're off. They've been off for like the last 2 weeks. They're only doing 3 a month. It's only going to be 2 a month, or 2 in January. Or no, it was only 2 in December. It's only.
Do they release it in podcast form?
Yeah, they do.
Okay, that's probably how I'll listen to it. I'm just trying to think. What else do you want to talk about the episode? What did you think of the real life killer robots making an appearance?
The casino robot?
No, the
Boston what's it called? Boston Dynamics?
Boston Dynamics, yeah.
Yeah.
Spot.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Did
you think it was a product placement?
I don't know if it's a product placement. Like, I don't think it was meant to be an ad, but it seems like that'd be the kind of company with people working on it who are fans of Star Wars and who might have like offered, hey, we have these, can you put them in the show? Like synergistic and probably done with an idea of like, oh, we'll get publicity out of this. But I think it probably initially came from just a genuine, hey, this would be cool to get in standpoint.
Yeah, it's kind of funny in a way how like it looks more modern than some of the stuff in Star Wars. Like it looks more advanced rather.
Yeah.
It was cool. It's kind of frightening. But yeah, people were like, "Oh man, they must have had to pay so much for that." They probably didn't buy one.
Yeah, they definitely didn't.
If I doubt they even rented one, it was probably just good for everyone, like you said.
Yeah, they probably flew the people out to the set, said bring the robot, and
it may have only just been one robot as well, just like filmed a bunch of times. Who knows? But it was cool.
Yeah.
And then we got Rex from Star Tours. Did you notice him?
Wasn't that the casino, like the one in the middle of the table?
Yeah. He was cool. I love Star Tours. Star Tours is better than the Millennium Falcon ride at Galaxy's Edge, in my opinion.
Right. I've never been to any of them, so I can't say.
You never done Star Tours before? Maybe did you ever go to Disney or?
No.
I guess it was an MGM as a kid. I can't remember.
I went to Disney in 1997. So
Star Tours would have been there.
I didn't like
Tours
Star
has been
Wars
around since like the 8. Oh yeah, fair enough. I remember though. I think they had one at MGM Grand maybe when I was a kid because we went to Florida, but we didn't go to Disney. And there was a giant AT-AT that you'd walk under, and it would shoot water at you. And I thought it was the coolest shit ever. Like, because I was a Star Wars fan forever, so it was like true childlike wonder that you never got to experience. Get fucked.
I didn't like Star Wars until after Episode 1 and 2 were both already out. So I missed out. There was a video I saw of someone taking down their Christmas decorations. It was like a big inflatable AT-AT, and they had a little like remote control snow speeder that they just wrapped around the leg and pulled the
That's
inflatable.
awesome.
It was great. I'll see if I can find the link and send it to you.
I noticed a lot of Grogu's up on like lawns this year.
It's going to be like the next Minion.
Yeah, I think it already is. Maybe I saw more Grogu's than Minions, and like someone did a really kind of insane one where they had him like up in a tree and shit, and it was just well done.
Yeah, like one of my neighbors down the street has a Minion that they put up for Halloween. It doesn't seem to be like a Halloween themed Minion. It's just a Minion that they put up and put a bucket next to. So I like they may as well just fucking take the trick or treat bucket away and leave it up all year.
Honestly, I don't understand. I'm gonna keep these lights up. I think I like them.
Yeah. All the
Not
Christmas
the tree,
lights,
obviously, but yeah. Also, look at that second cup of Tim Hortons there today. I went before the podcast and got a tea, and they gave me a coffee. So now I got both.
Yeah.
Because I turned my ass around and I said, give me my tea.
They got my order wrong today at second cup. I was buying the rest of a present for Dana, and I wanted to get her like hot chocolate mix. I'm trying to make sure she can't hear me. And I asked for like one of each because they do regular and white. They just gave me 2 white ones. So now Dana's
Kelsey's addicted to second cup. Like, she likes this. I don't know exactly what it is. It's medium, skinny vanilla bean latte, 2 peppermint shots. That's her go-to.
Yeah,
get that like so much. It's fucking driving me to do Raid Shadow Legends sponsors.
Not cheap.
Nope. Well, no, because that's like an $8 fucking cup of coffee.
Yes. So when the people do those like financial tips for millennials, really it's Kelsey that they're aimed at. Because I've never known who the fuck they're talking to. Because I thought no one I knew drank that much coffee every day. But maybe it's about you and Kelsey.
It's funny because Kelsey's like the most like annoyingly. She's got her vice. Well, like the coffee's really her only vice, but she's like the most annoyingly, like cost conscious person ever. Like I remember we were doing balloons for August's birthday, and we had this. I forget what she wanted to spell it. It was like some pun about dinosaurs. It was like, anyway. So like we had to get 6 letters or whatever, and 3 of them were like $2 cheaper each. But I had to like drive halfway across the city, and I'm like, you're making me do this, and like I'm probably not even breaking even on gas here. Like, certainly not on my time.
An extra video and you can buy all the letters you want if I save that hour.
Exactly, that's true. It's true. She's like, I just got to do it. I was like, okay. But like her dad's like that too. Like he'll come back from vacation, and like the first thing he wants to talk about is like how cheap like liquor was down there. Like I've got 4 bottles of whiskey out there because he saw them for cheap when he was in New Brunswick, and he like, hey, here's 4 bottles of whiskey in case you want to kill yourself.
Yeah.
Dana
will just look for sales for everything too, or like I kind of do it, but I also won't like go to a different store for it because it's just not worth the. Especially because we don't even have a car, so like the gas would even out, but the time is what kills me.
Yeah, like when we lived in Toronto, we weren't poor. Like I was earning like 70 grand a year, but that's like Toronto. That's not very much. Like my rent was $2,300 a month. So when we did groceries, we would go to 3 different places. We would go to the Walmart. We would go to, what's the Giant Tiger, and what's the name of one of the grocery store chains in Ontario?
Basics.
Yeah, Food Basics. Or no, Food Basics was expensive. There was one more, but anyway, we'd have to go to all 3 every time. And like I was working like 50 hours, like not crazy hours, but like enough that like I'd come back and that would be like my whole night.
Yeah.
Or like my whole weekend. Just like going to 3 different places for a week of groceries. Fucking brutal.
Like we'll alternate. We'll go to Loblaws mostly, but I'll go to Food Basics sometimes because there's usually like cheaper meats there. And then sometimes we'll go to Walmart. But Like, we don't even have one of the superstores, so there's no actual groceries, just some dried stuff and milk you can get there. But
yeah, so like for me, like I'm sorry, like if I want to get groceries, like if I need cheese and cheese is a little more expensive somewhere, like I'm here, I'm buying it. Like sorry. um but yeah, that's just, I guess that's just,
yeah.
I'm just built different than her. um I don't know how we got to fucking groceries.
Do you think Boba buys his own groceries, Nora? Is that what the Gamorrean guards go and do
Yeah,
for him?
Boba's definitely not buying his own groceries, for sure not. I like the Gamorreans, but did you notice they look a little weird?
They looked pretty sexy on the scene walking down the street.
Just gut hanging out. just Randy painted green.
Mr. Leahy.
I think the problem with the Gamorreans now is they look a little too like realistic, whereas like I think they were using body prosthetics in the original trilogy. I don't know though.
They look very small now.
Mm-hmm. It was the same. It was same in the Mando season 2 where they're like fighting.
Yeah,
Look a little tiny. Although it is whatever. No, I'm not gonna get myself too worked up over some shirtless green pigs.
Yeah. I do wish we kind of had like a better idea of like the scale of Boba's operation currently. Like we know it's him and Fennec and these two Gamorreans. Presumably other people exist as well, but there's not much of that. There's not really we haven't really found his motivation, like what his goal is for the organization or why he wants the organization. And I assume that's going to be coming up, but I don't know.
I mean, it seems like in one of the future episodes, we're going to see him kind of bring some people in and have like his big, his dinner where he's kind of laying out what's going on.
Yeah.
So I assume we'll get some of that there. It does seem pretty small right now. Like he's kind of inherited. I mean, he must have some muscle to kind of be making the demands that he has now.
Yeah.
Or that he is now, but it's definitely going to encounter someone much bigger than him soon.
Because like the other people were coming in before he'd even had those two Gamorreans, so that if that was doubling his operational capacity, then that wouldn't be great. But
yeah, I mean, considering he must have, taken some people that Bib had running for him and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to get to our emails for the week?
Yeah. Any final thoughts on the episode? Do you want to give?
I thought it was good. Points. A little bit slow, but I'm hoping a bit less of the split between past and present for next episode. See where it goes, though.
I definitely think there's going to be a season 2. I just want to say that already. I just get the feeling this isn't going to be a limited 7-episode series.
Probably. Like, they're not, unless it flops or something there. Probably. There's going to be more Boba you can do, so there's going to be more Boba they do. I think they're kind of just seeing which shows do what, and then they'll pick whatever they want to have the second season. That wasn't like explicitly planned for it.
One thing I saw too, aside from, so I just saw online that most of the footage, besides for the overhead shot, was originally stuff from that was like filmed for the Clone Wars, and it was all the original files and stuff. I guess they just removed layers and whatnot. But there was also repurposed shots from episode 6. The hallway stuff at the beginning was all from episode 6, which was cool. But yeah, let's get to some emails.
We've got a couple. The first question comes from Adam, who asks, my question has to do with both the currently releasing Essential Legends collections and Visions. Do you think Disney and Lucasfilm are using both to measure public interest in non-canon storylines to see if it would be financially viable to continue Legends in some form?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think that's what they're doing with it. I think like they have the books already. They're happy to re-release them. Like part of the reason that Legends...
Whoa, Adam has an animated... Did you see that?
Yeah.
That's sick. Dude, he's got an animated Google picture.
Yeah.
That is... Okay.
We live in the future.
We live in the future.
But yeah, like part of the thing with the whole idea, like, oh, they could just continue both, is that they, as much as they are putting out a lot of stuff with shows and with books, they don't want to oversaturate it. So that would be like part of a big reason to not release more stuff from multiple continuities. Like there's some special event kind of things like like visions, but as far as like continuing the old continuity with new books, contracting those authors out, and having like multiple more book releases per year, I just don't see that as being a thing that they'd go for.
Yeah, it's all opportunity cost. And even if they, like, let's say that even the information shows that they would be selling more, like, I think they'd have to be selling that, or that Legends would sell more. I think they'd have to show that Legends would sell substantially more.
Yeah.
Because you're mixing up your messaging, like you're not advancing your other stories, because you can only put out so many books a year. Even though theoretically Disney and Lucasfilm could contract 1 million book publishers, it's like at a certain point you're getting diminishing returns, and you're getting, just too much noise.
Yeah.
So,
and like, I say this as someone who obviously, as much as people may not believe it, because sometimes I do a video on canon, does really love Legends. The audience, it's not like if they put out a Legends book instead of a canon book that there'll be like some substantially bigger number of people that are only coming in for the Legend stuff. If they release a Legends or a canon book, it's probably going to be a similar number of people reading it either way. So there's just not really an incentive to do that. So as it is with Legends, re-release the X-Wing stuff. And ultimately, like, I think you also have to consider, even within Legends fans, the number of people who, when NJO came out, were saying like, oh, well, this doesn't count anymore. And then Legacy of the Force, The Fate of the Jedi. Like, I think if they dug up a finished copy of Sword of the Jedi trilogy somewhere, even though it never existed, and put it out, maybe like that would get an immediate rush of a lot of people. So maybe that would do better in a vacuum. But then, like, as a continued franchise, I just don't think the split is really going to get anyone anywhere financially. So that'd be why I don't think it's likely. I'd love for it to happen. I just don't think it's likely.
Yeah, no, same with me. Yeah, I agree. Like, if it were me running Lucasfilm, would I want to do it? Yes, obviously. Like, and if I were running the corporation, like, just to make myself happy, I would do it. But from a business standpoint,
who was it? Christy Golden that was doing Sword of the Jedi? I think it was.
I think so. I'm not actually sure.
Like, if I had $1 quadrillion, would I be like putting Christy Golden on retainer right now to finish the trilogy for me, and then maybe pay presumably Troy Denning to write a sequel? Yes, I'd do that. Like, I'm not gonna lie, but I don't think it's likely that they're gonna do.
We're talking about the hard cruelties of the capitalistic system here. Oh. All right, so our next email is from Khalil, who says, "Dark greetings." Dark greetings to you too. I'm wondering what you think about the Darth Bane trilogy. And he also mentions that he is waiting to see the Book of Boba Fett on the 29th because it's my birthday. Well, happy birthday. Late birthday, Khalil. We covered Darth Bane. We did 3 podcasts in total, 1 on each novel. We don't like it as much as a lot of people do. I'll only speak for Corey because we talked about it for 6 combined hours or whatever. But I think I personally find it a bit edgy, and like, I don't know. I don't think it quite delivers.
Yeah, it's definitely a really popular series.
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of flack for not. How much I dislike
whenever we do our re-rankings, we talk about how we think they're fine. We even have them like above average, but even that's not high enough for some people. So there's definitely a lot of people love them. We're not among those people as much. We still both like them though, so definitely worth reading. But you'll probably enjoy them.
Yep. Sorry, I just accidentally closed the email. Do you want to handle this next one, Corey?
Yep. Our next email comes from Joel, who is asking, do you think the book of Boba...
Wait. No. The next email doesn't come from Joel.
Well, I thought you'd want to read that one, Joshua.
No, I want you to read it.
Okay, Joshua wants me to read that one.
First of all, okay, I want to say we got an email that it's either from somebody who doesn't speak English as a first language, which is totally fine. And if that case, they're much better at speaking English than I am at speaking any other language, or it's somebody who's trolling us.
I think they're trolling us because they gave you 3 different names in this email.
Oh yeah, it's true. Okay, do you want to read it?
All right,
because it's funny. I really enjoyed reading it.
I think it's got to be trolling because otherwise you wouldn't have more than one name. Hi, Jeremy and Corey. Finally excited for episode 89. Honestly, don't care to watch Book of Bob's for myself. Fortunately, Joshua and Corey are there to do that for me, and no doubt they're super excited to vaguely prattle on about it while I vaguely listen while I vaguely work. Corey, he totally said the local pub celebrates his podcast and then using his plot armor. Johnny distracted us and thought no one noticed.
Oh, so there's 4 names in total?
Jeremy, Joshua,
Johnny, Joshua, Jacob.
Does he call you Jacob at the end?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My questions: is there a place where I can listen to Corey discuss more of the behind the scenes on Throng's Revenge or just modding in general? Yeah, you can go to Corey Loses on YouTube or stay here on Corey's Datapad. Also, where's the book club most active? I probably here as well. We're on Podbean. You could listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And I lean with Jacob on opinion for most books because this is definitely a sock account that Justin sent this email in from. I always had a soft spot for Truce at Bakura and Courtship of Princess Leia.
Let's go.
About to read Thorne's duologue, Spectre of the Visions Past. Very much looking forward to going through NJO with you guys. Thank you. So my question right now is, Justin, did you send this email?
I did not send the email.
Okay.
But it's beautiful.
Well,
to be fair, Book of Bob's, that's something my phone would do. My phone always corrects Boba to Bob's. Yeah, thank you very much.
Right. Thank you, James, for sending, I think, our favorite email.
Yeah, definitely our favorite. I'm going to put a star next to that one. You know how people, I've heard I don't do this, but I've heard some people, whether they're YouTubers or actors or whatever, will keep all of their fan mail in a drawer, so when they're getting lots of hate, they can read that. I'm just keep that email whenever I'm going in a tough time. I'm just going to read. Someone give me 3 different names. I was always called Jason. I'm surprised you didn't go with Jason because that's one that I got a lot growing up.
Well, he's saving that for the sequel. Okay. This can't be a one-off.
No, I hope not. But yeah, very based and red-pilled email.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. Our red-pilled in Matrix, not weird incel stuff.
Okay. So the one where it's actually about being trans and none of the IRL red-pilled people are willing to accept that?
Okay. Yeah. Even though, yeah. Anyway. Joel says, hi, Tapcaf. Do you think Book of Boba Fett is playing on the noble side that Boba Fett had from the Tales of Jabba's, where he's this honorable bounty hunter? What other aspects of Boba's early Legends character would you like to see adapted?
I hope not, because isn't that where he's a religious, it's bad to have sex outside of marriage?
No sex before marriage. I made a video jokingly calling him an incel, and people freaked out. It was one of my most disliked videos of all time. Let me just see if I can find some.
Clearly, then he was a Volcel.
Yeah, that was the main thing. People were really mad about it, but yeah, I hope they don't go with that because there's not a whole lot that I liked. I don't think they're going to go. I think he's more, pragmatic. I don't think he's, outright evil. I don't think he's good. He definitely dislikes certain people like Mace Windu, Han Solo. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, keeping him not fond of Jedi, I think makes sense. I think they're trying to go for a softer side for him. They're not going to have him be overtly evil, but he's still setting up a criminal empire. I don't think I think some sort of code of honor for him is what they're going for, but I hope it's not quite the some of the earlier EU versions of him, because he did go into just more vaguely creepy territory with those, and I'm not kind of on board with that. So
I'm just reading some of the text. At one point he says he approves of her modesty about Leia. He also said he has never so much as held a woman in his arms.
This is after he has a daughter, right? So
yeah, that's true. A lot of people claiming in the comments here that he's not an incel, he's a Volcel. So yeah.
I mean, yeah,
it was a fucking joke on a 30,000 view YouTube video, and people got really pissed about it. But yeah.
I mean, I did a video a week ago telling people that they shouldn't care what a corporation says about what's canon or not, and this was unacceptable.
I did a video on every gay person in Star Wars like 4 years ago, and that was super unacceptable. But I got a lot of gay fans afterwards, so like, you trim some of the fat, and you gain some people you want to gain.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
All right. I think that does it for our discussion of Book of Boba Fett Episode 1 on Stranger Tides. I forget what it was actually called. It had
Stranger in a Strange Land.
Yeah,
like
that's what it was.
The Heinlein novel, or
so not the Pirates of the Caribbean movie that no one liked.
I think it's also a biblical verse as well. But
yeah, it's a
weird religious
thing.
Boba Fett again.
Oh, they're just sneaking it in instead.
Yeah.
But next week,
Boba Fett does feel like a stranger in a strange land in this, though, because he's like, he grew up on Camino.
Except that strange land is Tatooine, which we've been on for like every other Star Wars thing.
Mm-hmm.
Not that strange.
Yeah. I think every major Star Wars project has. Yeah, I was gonna say, what about Rebels? No, Rebels did it with Kenobi.
Yeah, that's
original trilogy. Yes, prequel trilogy. Yes, sequel trilogy. Just barely.
Episode 5 is like the only place to not go to Tatooine.
Yeah, but we get Clone Wars. Wait, do we get Clone Wars? Do they actually go to Tatooine in the Clone
They must. Wars? I have to assume they do. They don't in Rogue One.
That's true.
They don't in Solo.
Do they go to Tatooine in the Clone Wars? They must.
I feel like they do.
Oh yeah, I'm looking. They do it in like 10 episodes.
Yes. Like asking, do they go to Naboo in the Clone War?
Yeah, it sucks every fucking time. It's about Jar Jar. It's a Jar Jar episode.
Yeah, I always think about hating the Clone War, or I always used to think about hating the Clone Wars. Then I realized I just need to not watch the episodes on Naboo, and I'll like it a lot more.
Yeah. That's like, when I watch Rebels, there aren't that many episodes that I want to skip. And like, the episodes that would be skippable in the Clone Wars, like the one where are not skippable in Rebels, like the one with Zeb, like where they're stranded on the planet, you know that one?
With him and Callus?
With Callus, yeah. That's like in the Clone Wars, that would have been lame because it would have been like fucking Jar Jar and a droid or something, and it would have been like, instead we get like the foundation for every Zeb Callus fan fiction that ever existed.
Yeah. And in Rebels, when you have a droid missing somewhere, that droid is fucking Chopper, and if you don't watch a Chopper scene,
he's killing
we're not
somebody.
Friends. Yeah.
There is a good... I remember there's a scene in the Clone Wars where R2 just fucks up another astromech droid. He just like he's like, it's like the undercover one. Do you remember that? And he just like fucking yeets it off the edge of like a station.
I don't.
Yeah, it was sick.
I need to finish my Clone Wars rewatch. It's been going on forever, and after season 7 finished, I just never actually continued with my rewatch for some reason. But I do need to finish that.
I might restart a Rebels watch. I don't know. I kind of want to now. I kind of like I've accidentally talked myself into it.
Well, we definitely need to cover like some parts of the end of it going into Ahsoka, because that's where at least Sabine is going to be. So, like, we definitely need to cover some part of it on the show before one of those shows come up.
Yeah, I think if we were going to do it, it makes sense to like, I think we could do like 8 episodes maybe, because there's 4 seasons, maybe like 12 episodes. I don't know. That's a lot though.
Yeah, we'll probably just do something on like the last season, the last few episodes, rather than doing like a full rewatch of anything. It's not like we're going to be running out of shows to watch this year and cover. We're not going to have like a big gap of stuff. Unless we decide to do like some extra Tapcaf content this year or something and do better branding for it. But who knows?
It'll be nice to not have to do a book every week like last year.
Yeah.
Although
the short books were fine.
They were fun, but yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, I got a question I meant to ask. Do you think we're going to get any tie into like the Mandoverse? Like, do you think we're going to get a Thrawn name drop in this, or maybe even see Thrawn in Boba Fett?
I don't know, because like Fennec already is that. So I don't know, maybe Cobb Vanth, but he'd be my, and he's not even really a Mandoverse tie-in, but like Timothy Oliphant had his hair cobby earlier this year when he was doing
I think he's
interviews,
gonna
so
be there.
he's like he's got to be there somewhere.
Yeah, agreed. It makes too much sense. I think fans really loved his character as well. And he was I love the actor as well. He's also incredibly attractive. As a straight man,
I'd think of it
I'm
as
comfortable enough to say that.
I'd think of it as a waste if we're doing a whole show on Tatooine and then Cobb Vanth doesn't show back up.
Yeah. Hopefully we get to see more Jawas as well. I'm all about the Jawas.
Yeah. They're just out there trying to survive in this crazy world. But next week,
what book is it? Okay, hold on. What book is it where is it the New Rebellion where they like have the Jawas like in a space station? And they're like,
no, that's Children of the Jedi, isn't it?
No, well, yeah, there's that, but there's one book where they've got Jawas in a sand crawler in a space station, and they're using it to like repair. I forget. It's so. But
isn't that the Callista trilogy?
Is that? No, I'm thinking. I gotta figure this out. This is gonna drive me fucking crazy. I know they're in the Callista trilogy, and like I know they've got like a little. So I can find it. Some Jawas are skip. Yeah, they're taking to skip 5 on Smuggler's Run to help repair damage. Oh yeah, that's what they do. So they've got like Imperial equipment that's broken. So they set up like this fake desert on a space station for these Jawas and leave all the broken equipment there because Jawas naturally like to repair shit apparently, and that's how they fix all the equipment they need.
Sure does suck that we skipped that chronologically.
It's gonna be fun when we get to it.
Right. So speaking of getting to things, next week on the podcast here on the show on the Tapcafs, we're going to be talking about the High Republic Book 3, The Fallen Star by Claudia Gray. It's Claudia Gray this time.
You're going to need to read it quickly, guys. Sorry, 2 days.
Yeah, so
3 days maybe. Yeah.
It comes out on the 4th, right?
Yeah,
and we're talking about it on the 6th.
Yep.
I mean, unless we did the Corellian trilogy next week and then did Fallen Star the week after that, but I think we do need to do it either that week or the week after.
No, let's do it next week.
Okay. So we'll do that, and then soon we'll be getting into the finale of the Corellian trilogy. So maybe it'll be Fallen Star, then we'll have episode 2 and 3 of of Book of Boba Fett. So we won't be doing this episode by episode. The plan currently is to do, we've got episode 1 on its own here. Then in 2 weeks, we'll be doing episode 2 and 3 together. 2 weeks after that, we'll do 3 and 4, or 4 and 5. Then we'll do 6 and 7 after the finale. So that's our plan currently. I think each of us will probably be doing shorter breakdowns of each episode as they happen. So we won't be completely without discussion if you're really dying for our opinions as the episodes come. But yeah, anything else you want to say? Do you want to give some rankings of where this falls in your Star Wars live action hierarchy?
Nah, not really.
Okay.
I want to see more episodes before I do that.
Yeah. Maybe at the midpoint in the season we'll have a better idea of where that's going to fall. But thank you all for listening and watching and rating us high or low on any of those aforementioned podcast listening places, hitting the thumbs up on YouTube, writing to your local congressman about getting Tapcaf in more schools. Not the episodes where we talk about Akbar and Winter unless it is age appropriate. So high schools or colleges or above. Yeah, like stop trying to get those episodes in elementary school. It's disgusting.
Especially without parent consent forms.
Have you been reading any more reviews? Have we gotten any more reviews on
I haven't. I'll do a checkup for next episode though.
All right. Well, thank you again, everyone. And remember,